Hey guys, Aaron CybertronVGC here, and today I am back for some more competitive double battles in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. In this video, I'm going to be using a team that is centered around Grafaiai, one of the brand new Generation 9 Pokemon, as well as Slaking. Grafaiai is really cool because it gets access to a signature attack in Doodle, and it also has Prankster. Doodle allows you to copy your opponent's ability, not only for Grafaiai, but also for its partner. So you can imagine when paired with Slaking, which has a pretty bad ability in Truant, you're able to get rid of that ability and suddenly make Slaking an absolute monster. Slaking really hasn't seen very much play in competitive VGC or doubles throughout the last couple of generations, and I think that this strategy enables it to be a lot stronger. As always, I'll do a quick breakdown of the team and strategy, but if you want to just skip to the battles, check out the timestamps in the description below. Thank you so much as always for watching. If you enjoy, please share your support by leaving a like. It really helped me and the channel out a lot. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Aaron, and I do competitive VGC/doubles content all the time, and I specialize in battles. And so if that's something you're interested in, it would mean a lot if you'd consider subscribing. Thank you so much as always for watching. Let's talk about this team. First of all, a huge thank you to Cabasco and Tinted Aspect for building this team and for sending it in to me. I just really wanted to try out the Grafaiai Slaking combination, and so it's really awesome that they were able to build an awesome team around it. So I've linked their Twitters down in the description below, as well as a rental and a paste if you want to try it out yourselves. Now, the first thing to talk about here, of course, is the main combination on this team, and I talked about it already in the introduction, but the whole idea is you use Doodle, get rid of Slaking's ability. It doesn't need to be a useful ability on Slaking, it just needs to be anything else, right? Because as soon as you get rid of its ability, then this thing can attack every turn, and this thing just has great stats, right? Base 150 attack, or 160 attack, base 150 HP, 100 defense, 100 speed. It just does a lot of damage across the board, and you've got Bulk Up and Drain Punch, so it can sustain for a decently long time as well. Now, the Grafaiai here also has some pretty good utility in Parting Shot, Rain Dance, and Protect. One other thing to talk about with Doodle, by the way, is that you can't always guarantee it. It actually doesn't work against Paradox Pokemon, and also if you Doodle, you can actually change Fluttermane's ability as well. So just keep that interaction in mind. I had to learn that the hard way by testing it. And Doodle also is not going to work, for example, against Dark-type Pokemon when you have Prankster, because Dark-type Pokemon are immune to Prankster boosted priority. And for example, Inity Female can also be pretty annoying, as well as Inity Male, because they can set up the Psychic terrain, thus preventing you from getting the Prankster priority boosted attacks off. So keep those things in mind. If I see those things in team preview, I'm going to be a little bit more hesitant to immediately go with Grafaiai and Slaking, but if they don't have too many of those things that I just mentioned, then I'll often feel more comfortable just leading this combination immediately. And so, yeah, once Grafaiai gets the Doodle off, you're often going to look to Parting Shot out. Now, it's important to note that after you use Doodle, you're not going to have Prankster anymore, and so you're not going to have that priority, but since Grafaiai is actually so fast here anyway, you're just going to be able to Parting Shot out often before your opponent can really move. And so this allows for Slaking to copy a lot of interesting abilities, and yeah, you got to play a little bit flexible, but the idea is to just enable this. Now, you're probably wondering why there's Rain Dance on this Pokemon, and it's because there's a really interesting Arboliva set here. The idea here is that the Grafaiai can turn the weather into rain, which is really good into Torkoal and Tyranitar, and then this can go for Terra Water and then go for Terra Blast as well. Even with no special attack investment, that actually gets a one-hit knockout onto Torkoal, which is really, really sweet. So you can completely dunk on Torkoal Trick Room teams and catch them completely off guard. This is fairly defensive as well, you've got leftovers. Also, the ability here is fairly valuable because when it's hit by an attack, it sets up grassy terrain. Psychic terrain can be kind of annoying for this team because it really shuts down Grafaiai and wanting to go for Doodle and Parting Shot. And so you can use this kind of to counter some of those NDDs that you might run into. But overall, I'd say this is primarily used as a check for Torkoal. Grass coverage is also just fairly nice into some Pokemon that are weak into grass type attacks, such as the Dondozo, for example. To round out the team, you've got a very bulky Arcanine, max HP, max defense. The idea here is that this is just super good into physical attackers, things like Garchomp, Gyarados, and Tyranitar. Even though they can launch super effective attacks into you, you just have so much bulk here. You have Intimidate and you have Will-O-Wisp. Finally, to round out the team, you've got Fluttermane. This Fluttermane is 124 speed EVs with the booster energy, and so the idea is that with booster energy, you know, you outspeed so many Pokemon, even if they're Choice Scarf, which is really nice. And I've had a lot of situations where I go with like Grafaiai, Slaking lead. Grafaiai, you know, goes down or Parting Shots into Fluttermane. And then the combination of Fluttermane and Slaking can just be super overwhelming for opposing teams. And so, yeah, Ghost Terra just to do more damage with your Shadow Balls in those positions. And you've got a lot of special defense investment as well, which helps out against opposing Fluttermanes and just other special attackers. The last Pokemon here is Dragonite. This is a Life Orb set with Iron Head, Extreme Speed, Aqua Jet, and Protect. So you've got the Life Orb, Norma, Terra, Extreme Speed. Aqua Jet's also pretty fun. You know, you can set up Rain Dance and then do pretty consistent damage with it into the aforementioned Torkoal, for example. And then Iron Head's good coverage into some of the Fairy types. I will say in playing with this team, I didn't really ever bring out Dragonite in the maybe 10 or 15 games that I had played and where I practiced with the team. And the Arboliva also didn't come out that often, but it was valuable into Torque Room compositions. Torkoal Trick Room compositions. The main combo I'd often go with is just like Grafaiai Slaking with Arcanine and Flutter Mane in the back, or something like Grafaiai plus, you know, something else, and then like try to maybe pivot Slaking in. Other times, if I feel like Grafaiai is not going to provide a lot of value in the early game, I'll go with something like Arcanine Flutter Mane to disrupt in the early game, and then go with Grafaiai Slaking after I've checked the things that prevent me from going for Doodle, and then enable Slaking. So yeah, I think overall this strategy maybe isn't like the absolute most consistent, but one, I think it's really fun, and two, I'm excited to see how we can utilize it and, you know, see what teams and Pokemon can potentially counter it as well. So thank you so much for watching. Let's jump into it. Okay, we've got Dragonite, Chimpao, Tyranitar, Iron Hands, Volcarona, and Amoonguss. How do I want to approach this? I think Flutter Mane is very strong. I mean, even copying like Grafaiai plus I'm trying to just keep going with this, honestly, because what I really want to show is just the potential of this duo. It's a little bit sad because I just didn't bring Arboliva or Dragonite in this one, but I don't know. I don't feel like most of the matchups are really right for it, truthfully. So yeah, I think the idea is that we can just start bulk upping immediately. What's interesting is if they tear a normal Dragonite, Drain Punch will deal super effective damage to him, which can be good. But yeah, we're just trying to get rid of Truant as quickly as possible on Slaking. That's Volcarona and Dragonite. Okay. Volcarona, Dragonite. I am down to just Doodle here. Doodle bulk up is the play turn one, I think. Doodle Dragonite here. Well, dude, copying Flame Body is actually kind of interesting, no? Especially since I already have Clear Amulet on this. Okay, I'm down to Doodle and bulk up. Oops. Maybe it's normal Terra. Honestly, though, normal Terra isn't that bad for me, right? Because then I can just turn Ghost next turn and Drain Punch you. Wait, that's actually really sick. Unless they just KO Slaking immediately here. I guess that could be kind of bad. Like, Choice Band Extreme Speed Overheat. I'm a little bit worried about that. Or they just KO Grafaiai. Uh-oh. Okay, that was dangerously close. I figured we'd survive there, but that was maybe a little too close for comfort. Alright, now we double copy Flame Body. So Dragonite now has to risk getting burnt. And more importantly, I get rid of the Slaking's ability. They're going to Heat Wave. That's fine. Please don't burn me. Nice. Okay. I think I've seen that team before with Scarf Volcarona. I'm down to just bring out Flutter Mane here, I think. Yeah, here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring out Flutter Mane. We are just going to Shadow Ball into the Volcarona slot. And then Terra with Slaking to be immune to Extreme Speed. So Dragonite can't Extreme Speed either Pokemon. Because they're just going to try to go for Extreme Speed Heat Wave right now into Slaking, I would imagine. So we can Shadow Ball Terra defensively and then Drain Punch, which heals us all the way back up as well. And so this is where, like, my opponent committing their Terra first gives me a pretty significant advantage, because now it's hard for them to cover for the Ghost Terra. And Volcarona actually switches, which is even better for me, I would argue. What's coming out? I see what they're going for. So they're going for the defense drop onto the Slaking to try to just KO us with Extreme Speed, but this is going to end up being so good for us. In fact, I think... Well, I don't want to call the game quite yet. It's still way too early. And anything can happen, but this is such a huge turn for me if they end up just going for the Extreme Speed onto Slaking. I can't really see them going for anything else, and I'm fairly sure that's Choice Banded as well. Yes, very nice. Beautiful. So there's Shadow Ball into Chimpao. It's not going to be very effective, but that's fine. Dazzling Gleam will certainly KO now after this next turn, and we get a nice special defense drop to boot. And Drain Punch is going to get the one-hit knockout onto Terra Normal Dragonite and heal us all the way back up as well. Or almost all the way back up. So things are looking very solid for us right now. But like I said, I don't want to call the game until it's actually over. But that's a great example of how defensive Terra can be utilized, I think. Bulk Run is going to come back out for my opponent. We've got the speed boost. It's weird that it doesn't show you that. But I'm down to just Dazzling Gleam here and Body Slam. I think we're super well positioned right now. Especially thanks to the speed. Like, I can't stress enough how important the speed boost is. They actually Sucker Punch into Slaking, but thanks to the boost earlier, like, we can take that fine. Dazzling Gleam here now KOs the Champao. Nice. I mean, now I guess I'm worried Volcaron outspeeds us and one-shots us, but you'd have to overheat, right? They go for Heat Wave. We should survive that barring a crit. That was way too close, though. And Body Slam should KO here. Excellent. No burn? Nice. And Amoonguss comes out. Excellent. I don't think they could have had any Pokemon in the back that would have beaten me, right? I guess Tyranitar would have been interesting for them in the context of this game, but just Shadow Ball and Body Slam now. I think, yeah, Grafaiai just surviving the beginning and being able to get the ability change was such a big deal. And then I think that's the interesting thing about Dragonite, right? So many people are using Choice Band right now, so like you can use that to our advantage knowing that you're likely going to be Choice Banded. And they went all in on trying to beat Slaking, and as soon as that didn't work out, it just put us into such a good position. Body Slam actually does not KO Amoonguss, so impressively enough, it does survive, but there's no way you're going to be able to mount a comeback from this position. We just have so much damage. I'm going to Spore into Slaking, so Slaking's going to take a little bit of a nap, but this Pokemon has done more than enough for me in this matchup. Amoonguss Shadow Ball and Body Slam once more. Pretty impressive, though, that Amoonguss survived the Shadow Ball and a +1 Body Slam. I think it's a testament to just how bulky this Pokemon can be. Like, look at that! It survived another Shadow Ball. That is very impressive. I would honestly love to know the EV spread here, but it's a little bit too late. I think this needed to come out a little bit sooner, but I get why they went all in on the Dragonite strategy there, because if we were not Ghost Terra, I think I wouldn't say that wins my opponent in the game, but it puts them in such a favorable position. So it's one of those situations where I think in a best of one, it's just worth going for it, because yeah, there's only like one Terra that can counter you. But what's interesting is that Slaking, or I guess normal Terra, Steel Terra would also work for us there. I guess what's interesting though is what other Terra types would Slaking even consider, right? And so you gotta, like, the risk versus reward on whether or not your opponent's gonna go for a defensive Terra is always interesting. Alright, we are up against the first team we featured at the beginning of Scarlet and Violet. It already feels like weeks ago at this point. But yeah, there's two main combos here. The Paradox Delibird plus the Dragapult, or Screamtail plus Torkoal, and it is Annihilate with Final Gambit as well. Final Gambit's kind of annoying here. I'm down for Grafaiai, Slaking, Fluttermane, Torkoal, I think. Yeah, Dragonite's okay here, actually, because of Iron Head, I think, but trying to see if I can just get the Slaking going here. So, what's, like, the worst thing for Slaking to run into? Probably the Annihilate, although Annihilate would Final Gambit, and I would actually end up surviving, because we have more HP than it, which is one of the nice interactions. We could also Sucker Punch Annihilate to decrease its attack, or HP. I'm gonna go Dragapult and the Paradox Delibird, though. Okay, that works for me. I think actually here, I'm decently content to just copy Dragapult immediately. So Doodle into Dragapult, and actually just go for Drain Punch here onto the Paradox Delibird. I normally would go for Bulk Up. The problem here is that I think we take too much damage from Hydro Pump. Something like Hydro Pulp plus Dragon Dart just does too much damage for my comfort here. Drain Punch, even if it doesn't KO, that's fine. I can Sucker Punch you next turn. So we are going to Doodle right now. That is going to give us the Clear Body. Not super relevant in terms of an ability here for Slaking, because we already have the Clear Amulet. They're just going to launch Icy Wind. That's fine. You're already faster than me anyway. But yeah, you can see it does pretty significant damage there, which is why I wanted to go for the healing. Okay, solid damage. Now I've got Sucker Punch. I don't have Priority Parting Shot, though. My question is whether or not Sucker Punch KOs this thing. It's kind of close. I'm down a Parting Shot here and just sacrifice Grafaiai and try to Sucker Punch into it as well. Nice, we do get the KO. Although now the Parting Shot ends up being... Well, they're just going to Dragon Darts that's all for a KO anyway, right? So that's fine. Yeah. This gives me a free switch into my Paradox Mischievous, which will just outspeed and KO the Dragapult. That's why it was important to conserve that in the back. Perfect. Don't really want to bring out Arcanine right now. I think what I am worried about is Torkoal being in the back for them. Is that Screamtail coming out? Oh, it's Annihilape. Okay. Well, what's interesting here, and what's really bad for them, is the Fluttermane here gets a speed boost. So, I outspeed your Choice Scarf Annihilape, which is a really big deal. I think I here just want to go for Terra. I know you're locked into Banded Dragon Darts as well. Do I need a Terra here? If I Terra, it actually means their Dragon Darts get split. What's their final Pokemon here? I think regardless, Fluttermane is very well positioned. So yeah, I think I will Terra. I will just Shadow Ball into Annihilape here to get the KO onto that. And honestly, I'm down to just Sucker Punch Dragapult here. They're going to stay in with both, which is fine by me. So this is interesting, right? Because if I didn't go for Terra on Mischievous, I would have conserved my Fairy typing, which means that Dragon Darts both get redirected into the Slaking. So in going for this, not only do I get a damage increase, but I also now prevent the darts from just doubling up onto Slaking, which is pretty sweet. Huh? Okay, I was like, it shouldn't just pick up a one-hit KO, right? That was kind of nasty. I don't think we needed the crit to win this game, but Slaking went off there. I mean, in the end, Slaking was able to KO both the Paradox Delibird as well as the Dragapult. And yeah, we just get a KO onto Annihilape. This is why the Booster Energy can be such a valuable item, because it helps against Choice Scarf Pokemon. So, yeah. And Sylveon was their last one. Yeah, so they decided they didn't want to go with like the Trick Room route, which makes sense. Now we can just Shadow Ball here and go for Body Slam. If the crit didn't happen there, Dragon Darts would have just hit both Pokemon, and then the next turn I can just Sucker Punch, KO the Dragapult, get a Shadow Ball off into the Sylveon slot, and then Arcanine should be able to win the 1v1 against Sylveon there. So I don't think the crit really made a difference, unless they like double crit their Dragon Darts. But Slaking is going to Body Slam into Sylveon. Actually survives, which is a testament to its bulk there. But both of my Pokemon are going to survive the Hyper Voice as well. And in the end, my opponent didn't even really get a chance to Terra, right? But the Sylveon generally is going to struggle against Arcanine in the end game, because you're only half Fairy type attacks, so yeah. Anyway, we'll let Slaking just go for a Sucker Punch here to finish things off. Yeah, and they end up forfeiting. So that was a really fast-paced game, but that's exactly what Slaking plus the Grafaiai combination can do. This Pokemon just does a lot of damage, even though we didn't get a bulk up in this game. I do think one thing that's important to note if you're using this combination is deciding, hey, when do you want to go for bulk up versus just attacking? If I'd actually gone for bulk up on turn 1, I think I would have been in a worse spot, because then the Paradox Delibird would have just threatened me with like a Hydro Pump, for example, on turn 2. So yeah. Sometimes it can just bulk up, but in this game I was willing to push the tempo a little bit because we just had really good coverage against their team overall, and having the booster on energy on Mischievous was a game changer in this game because it allowed us to just really threaten the Primeape slot. And one of the downsides of the team that we just went up against, that we had featured, previously, is that it does have a lot of choice Pokemon, and so the fact that I know you're scarfed on the, or I said Primeape, the Annihilape, I know that you're banded on Dragapult, I know you're spexed on Torkoal, makes it harder to have counterplay, and because I know your choice, it's really easy to just target that slot. And then, yeah, the booster energy was the big difference maker there, I'd argue, but a really fun way to get things started here. Okay, this team looks really scary. Chien-Pao, Paradox Mischievous, Paradox Hariyama, Golden Go, Chi-Yu, and Mimikyu. So, I mean, Slaking's interesting. The problem is they have so many special attackers, so bulk up is a lot less valuable for me, right? I think us having Fluttermane with the booster energy can be really strong here. Arcanine is Snarl. I mean, I just haven't really brought Dragonite. I just don't think these are the best matchups for it. I don't hate something like Fluttermane plus Arcanine. I'm just a little bit worried about like Chi-Yu plus Mischievous lead on their end, right? And with that, Grafaiai actually can't even copy either Pokemon, which is kind of sad. I don't know. I'm thinking of something like Fluttermane Arcanine lead and Grafaiai plus Slaking in the back. Once again, Arbolivo you really want to bring out against like Torkoals. Dragonite, I just don't think we get that much value out of Extreme Speed. Like, they've got Golden Go, Mimikyu. I mean, 3 Ghosts. So, yeah. But we are going to mix things up a little bit. I don't feel super good about the Grafaiai and Slaking lead here because, like, they have so many strong special attackers, including the Chi-Yu plus Paradox Mischievous, which would just lower my special defense, and you can just go for something like a Heat Wave, and I don't know if Mischievous is, like, Fairy Terra, would be such a nightmare for me. There's that lead. The thing is, I expected this. It's still pretty scary, I would argue. But the first question I have is their Mischievous. Do you have booster energy on that as well? Oh. It's probably... I mean, it should be a speed boost, yeah, because you're outspeeding me. That is really not ideal for me here, I would argue. Okay. I mean, truthfully, turn 1, I lean towards a Protect into a Snarl here. Just worried about the Arcanine getting dunked on. Like, they read into Protect and then just, yeah, double up Arcanine for a KO. That would make me very sad. Icy Wind. Okay. That's really cool. That is really cool. Nice means of speed control immediately, right? Oh, nicely done. They target around my Mischievous as well. But Arcanine actually survives thanks to all of its bulk, which is awesome. So if I get the Snarl off, I don't think it's even that bad. Oh, that's actually... So there was a post covering about how, like, the RNG seeding in this game, when you're playing on Battle Stadium, is actually broken. So I think Snarl actually might always miss in that slot on turn 1. I didn't even think about that. Anyway, that's not ideal, because they can just Icy Wind Dark Pulse the Fluttermane slot now. Don't really have much counterplay there, though. Oh, wait, but I'll still outspeed you, no? Yeah, I will. So I'm down a Shadow Ball here, and Snarl again. They just Dazzling Gleam, okay. That's fine. We'll get Shadow Ball off in return. That'll be a KO. Not bad, not bad. Okay. Probably Dark Pulse. I mean, they could see them Heat Waving, yeah. That actually might just double KO. Ooh, Fluttermane survives. That's a big deal. Hopefully no burn here on us. Nice. Okay, take Life Orb. I think I'm down to go into Grafaiai here. It's a little bit annoying because I can't Parting Shot into the Chi-Yu slot. Oh, they bring out Mimikyu. Ah, that's going to have Shadow Sneak. Can you even copy Disguise? I would think that interaction fails. How do I get out of this? I think I give up Fluttermane, Protect Grafaiai, then Rain Dance Drain Punch. But what's their last one going to be? Because if it's Iron Hands, it's very bad for me. Okay, we'll go for Moonblast here. Maybe they don't have Shadow Sneak, but that'd be a surprise. And Protect. Yeah, if anyone knows the interaction on Doodle on Mimikyu, please let me know, because I have no idea. Oh, interesting. They do not go for a Shadow Sneak. We actually get the crit onto Chi-Yu as well. Not sure if that mattered. Trick Room, maybe? Huh, okay. I don't mind that too much, because I can Parting Shot whatever's coming in. Oh, but if it's Iron Hands, I think I'm still in a lot of trouble, right? I'll take that turn, though. Like, the game was looking... I mean, it's still looking kind of rough, depending on what their final mon is. Yeah, that's not great. Moonblast. Parting Shot. The cool thing is I can Ghost Terra with Slaking, at least, to help out a little bit. But I don't don't think I can actually Doodle against either of these Pokemon. Okay, they actually just fake out here. It's fine. They did have Shadow Sneak. Okay, interesting. But it makes sense for them to want to prioritize getting Trick Room up there, right? Because the Mimikyu Iron Hands combination in the end game is looking mighty, mighty powerful. And also, yeah, because we have the Covert Cloak here, we're actually immune to Fake Out, which is awesome. That's a pretty big deal, actually. Even just getting down that down to -1 immediately is huge. So we'll bring out Slaking now. I mean, I'm going to try to graffiti the Mimikyu. Like, I've never seen or tested this interaction before, so might as well just do it here and we can all learn something. Sorry, I said graffiti. I meant Doodle. Yeah, I mean, I could Parting Shot here into Iron Hands as well, but let's see. Doodle and bulk up. Oh, wait, we want to Terra first. Yes. That's very critical this turn. It would make little sense for me to be able to copy the Disguise, but even if we didn't actually get a Disguise, if we were to copy the ability, that would be awesome. But Mimikyu's ability always worked kind of wonky with a lot of the ability interactions. Well, let's see. Either way, this is a good learning lesson to see whether or not this counters us. Yeah, it fails, doesn't it? Okay, well, it's good to confirm that. I figured that'd be the case. They do just close combat into us, though, so I will get a bulk up off at least. Play rough into that slot as well. Okay. Well, my best bet. 2 turns of Trick Room left. It really is to just Parting Shot here, you know? Into Iron Hands. And I gotta burn a turn here. I'm glad to have this kind of game, though, because in the end, it was really, really difficult to enable the Slaking, because there are a fair amount of Pokemon that just, you know, can't get Doodled. Paradox Pokemon, Dark types, Mimikyu here, Indeedee Psychic Terrain, as I mentioned as well. I think if we were able to just get rid of Slaking's ability... Oh, interesting. They're actually going to choose... It's probably Ghost. Yeah, and you're just going to Ghost into the Slaking slot. Should have thought about that and click Parting Shot into that slot, but I don't know if it would really make too much of a difference, honestly. Okay. Yep, they're going to Wild Charge. Really doesn't do too much, though, but the problem is Trick Room is still up. Oh, it's interesting they commit Play Rough there still. Huh, okay. And there's Truant. I mean, if we somehow survived a double up here, it is the last turn of Trick Room, like, and I was able to heal back with a Drain Punch, this is actually still doable, I think. The problem is, like, Grafaiai just has no damage right now. So I'm just stuck relying on Slaking, right? Go for Rock Slide. Interesting that Mimikyu continues to not click Shadow Sneak. Okay, if we don't flinch here and I actually get the Drain Punch off. Ooh, okay. Oh, that did, like, no damage, though. Never mind. I think I needed to actually just go for a Body Slam KO there, maybe. Well, this is looking pretty bad. I'm just going to show you guys that Doodle doesn't work, so we can confirm that, because some of you might be curious about that interaction. I don't think another Parting Shot really moves the needle here much anyway. I think this game is over. But yeah, ultimately, like, this is why with Slaking, sometimes it can be really nice to just get the ability up immediately. And as you can see, it also fails in that position. So yeah, loafing around, but now a double up onto that slot should get the KO. But they actually play rough. I'm really surprised they're not just going for Shadow Sneak. Like, yeah, they're going for moves that can miss. I mean, this gives me a slight chance now. That gives me a huge chance. I really think you should just, like, Shadow Sneak and Wild Charge into Slaking there, or at least, like, get a KO onto one of the slots. Going for like, we obviously am getting really lucky there, but going for inaccurate attacks is, like, one of the ways I can get back into this. I'm gonna Body Slam here in Parting Shot. Also, they could have gone for Trick Room there. Okay. I just don't understand the Ghost Terra there if you're not going to take advantage of the same type attack bonus. Oh, we do such little damage there, though. It's not enough. Okay. Yeah, it's still probably over, but interesting. There's Trick Room finally. Yeah. I'm glad to have this game, though, relative to the other ones, because it's not always just going to be super good for this combination. There's a fair amount of things that can counter it. I am just going to be forfeiting now, I think. Yeah, because like Slaking can't attack this turn. They just can target that slot. I guess they could still go for inaccurate attacks there, but I think they deserve the win. It wasn't 100% over, so it's probably worth playing out for another turn, just because of their tendency to not go for accurate attacks previously. And if Drain Punch were to KO, I don't know. It's still so hard, because like then I can't Drain Punch into Mimikyu, and I have to rely on just Shadow Sneak. And that's why ghost types in general can be a little bit hard for Slaking to deal with. But yeah, ultimately I'd say what went wrong for us in that game, we just never got Slaking to lose its ability, and that made the game obviously infinitely harder, and it was going to be impossible to win the game, I think, or near impossible to win that end game, because Grafaiai just doesn't have any damage output either. But yeah, I think it's important to show a loss like that in contrast to the wins, because yeah, there are, like I've mentioned, a fair amount of things that can counter this strategy. Okay, we've got Roaring Moon, Chien-Pao, Torkoal, Gyarados, Paradox on the Donphan, and then I honestly don't remember the name of that new Pokemon, Grafaiai, I believe. They have a couple of Paradox Mons. They do have a lot of physical attackers, though, so honestly, Grafaiai and Slaking looks decent here. And we have the Rain Dance combination here. Like, I actually think Arboliva could be fairly cool to showcase in this one. It would mainly be to beat Torkoal, though, I guess. I don't know if it's that good. Fluttermane was so good in that endgame previously. Dragonite's somewhat interesting here. But given the amount of physical attackers, I think we just need Arcanine. This is just really the 4 that I default to. If they were a more Trick Room-oriented team, I'd probably bring the Arboliva to dunk on the Torkoal, but I don't think we really need it as much here. So, ideally, we copy one of their abilities turn 1, get a Bulk Up off, and really just go from there immediately, but we'll have to see what they lead with. What you got? Torkoal and the Salamence. Okay. So, Photosynthesis is going to activate. One of the downsides is I can't target that slot. The attack increase is mildly annoying here. I think I lean towards Doodle turn 1. And then actually just Drain Punch. I don't hate the idea of Body Slam here, because I kind of expect this to go for Eruption. Yeah, I'm actually okay with this. Kind of a tough lead duo for me to fight into. What would have been better here? It would have been Paradox Mischievous for sure. I didn't actually think they would consider leading this because of Paradox Mischievous, because it would crush both of these fairly hard. But we get rid of Slaking's ability here. Oh, okay, that's interesting. I'm still not that concerned because of the fact that we have Paradox Mischievous with the speed boost in the back, but what gets concerning is, I guess, if they Dragon Dance again? Would you really do that, though? Oh, and it's actually Yawn. Okay, I don't mind that, though. I really don't mind that too much. Because now, kind of down to just switch into Arcanine. I could Parting Shot here, but I don't want to in case Torkoal protects. Given that you're Yawn, it might be a Body Press set, honestly. But I'm down to just switch out and then Drain Punch into the Salamence slot. So you're back down to +1 attack. Well, it's actually not +1 because it's a 30% boost, right? Not a 50% boost. Huh? Eject Pack? Oh! Eject Pack with Yawn is really interesting to see, but I don't mind that. Prevents a potential Yawn onto my Slaking slot. I considered going for a Bulk Up here, but I don't know. I think Drain Punch is also acceptable. Because if I were them, I'd be a little bit worried about the Slaking now that I've gotten rid of our ability. What's coming out? Gyarados, beautiful. You are not going to be able to intimidate us thanks to Clear Amulet, which is beautiful. I really want to get Fragiraf back in now and copy their Outrage. Oh. Now, Outrage isn't exactly seen too much in VGC because the target selection is actually random, making it incredibly inconsistent. Berry. Wow. Okay, so Dragon Dance Berry, Citrus Berry on that. I'm totally okay with that, though, right? Like, seems totally fine. Fluttermane is immune to the Outrage. Waterfall won't do much to us either right now. How important is conserving Arcanine for Intimidate? Pretty important. They have Chien-Pao potentially in the back. I'm down to switch into Flutter Mane here and then just Drain Punch into Roaring Moon again. I guess I could switch Gyarados out into Chien-Pao, which would get a defense drop onto my end, which would be pretty interesting. So we'll bring out Flutter Mane. We'll get the speed boost immediately. The speed boost is going to be pretty valuable. But I mean, the Roaring Moon here should always faint, right? Unless they switch out into Chien-Pao. Okay, they're going for a Terra. Can you Terra the Roaring Moon here? I assume not, right? Because you're locked into Outrage immediately, but it's going to be Flying Terra Gyarados, which is fine by me. Interesting. You get rid of the water typing. I guess that allows you to Terra Blast, but I'm not really that scared of that, honestly. And they end up outraging, yeah, into the Flutter Mane slot. That's why that's a really inconsistent option. Drain Punch here will just get the KO. Excellent. Okay, Gyarados doesn't really scare me that much right now. Grafaiai can copy its Intimidate as well, which is awesome. And they are just going to go for Terra Blast. I mean, this is like your way of having a consistent flying type attack, right? And that does 110 damage. So we can survive another one, which is great. I don't really need the speed boost that much anymore. Chien-Pao does come in, though. Actually, with Chien-Pao coming in, I don't hate the idea of going for Dazzling Gleam and just Sucker Punch here. Break a potential Focus Sash, outspeed, KO you. They actually just end up forfeiting. Okay. Yeah, I mean, the thing is that this can snowball so quickly. Like, if you have Slaking next to the Paradox Mischievous, it can just put in so much work. But I think, yeah, that's why I typically wouldn't advise running Outrage in VGC, because the target selection is random. If you could choose who is targeting, it would be incredibly powerful. But without, like, as soon as you use it, you're committing to it for at least 2 turns, right? And you don't know who you're targeting either. And in VGC, like, the ability to protect or switch is a really big deal. So if you're going for Outrage, you need to be 100% confident, I would say, that you can actually pick up knockouts onto the slots. Otherwise, it cannot enable your opponent to set up and make multiple switches. But yeah, ultimately, like, Grafaiai, we didn't get to use it much more after turn 1, but it would have been amazing just even switching, because it would be able to potentially copy their Intimidate, get a double Intimidate against them. And their team was fairly physically oriented, as you saw. And so, yeah, another... well, actually, because they got the defense drop from Chien-Pao, I suppose, then another Terra Blast would have KO'd. But yeah, I wish we could have seen a little bit more work from the Slaking and the Paradox Mischievous, but this duo can be so fun. Anyway, that's going to be it for this one. So thank you so much as always for watching. Rento is on the screen if you want to try it out yourselves, and hopefully it's showcased how this new fun strategy can be utilized. I think, as you can see, it can be very effective if set up properly, but there are a fair amount of things that you have to watch out for. So I don't know if it's really the most consistent strategy. I'm not sure I would actually bring this combination if I were trying to win a tournament, for example. But at the end of the day, you can have so much fun with it. And it's just nice to have a format where Slaking can honestly thrive after not being able to do super well in previous metagames. And so, yeah, thanks so much as always for watching. Rental is on the screen. My name is Aaron CybertronVGC. If you enjoyed, please share support by leaving a like. It really means a lot. And I'll see you all next time. All right. Peace.